The sky over central Germany does not erupt all at once. Instead, it begins with a low, distant rumble, a sound so deep and steady that it seems to vibrate through the clouds themselves. Long before the aircraft can be seen, that sound tells experienced ears everything they need to know. The bombers are coming, and they are coming in overwhelming numbers. It is the 2nd of November, 1944. At Brandis Airfield, Lieutenant Gunther Andreas races down the runway in his interceptor as American B-17 flying fortresses pass overhead, already pressing toward their targets. Sirens echo across the base. Mechanics dive for cover, and the urgency of the moment leaves no room for hesitation. Beneath Andreas sits a machine unlike anything else in the war. The Messerschmitt Me-163 Komet is small, compact, and deceptively simple in appearance. Yet it represents the cutting edge of aviation, the only rocket-powered aircraft ever to see combat. And at this moment, the fastest plane in the world. It is not designed for prolonged battle. It is built for a single, violent climb, a brief strike, and nothing more. Andreas eases back on the stick. A heartbeat later, he pulls hard. The rocket engine ignites with brutal force. He is slammed into his seat as the Komet explodes forward, accelerating so violently that the ground disappears beneath him almost instantly. The airspeed needle races past 400 miles per hour, climbing faster than any conventional fighter could hope to match. 15 other Komets surge skyward alongside him, their exhaust plumes carving steep, vertical lines into the sky. Together, they form a desperate defensive screen, tasked with protecting vital fuel plants from the approaching Allied armada. This is not a routine interception. It will become the largest Me-163 mission ever flown. The Komets climb almost straight up, the crushing G-forces pressing Andreas deep into his seat as the aircraft claws for altitude. In seconds, the grey haze below vanishes, replaced by clear blue sky and harsh, blinding sunlight. As suddenly as it began, the violence of the climb fades. Andreas throttles the engine back to idle to preserve fuel. Every second is precious. Then he sees it. Ahead of him stretches a formation so vast it seems impossible. A long, seemingly endless line of aircraft filling the horizon. Nearly 2.00 Allied planes are advancing toward their objective. 900 bombers, tightly packed, shielded by 1.10 escort fighters flying in disciplined formation. It is an airborne invasion. The Komets scatter at once, each pilot choosing his own approach. Andreas flies alongside his close friend, Oberfeldwebel Jakob Bollenrath. They exchange a brief glance. No words are spoken, but both understand what lies ahead. This flight may be their last. The Me-163 was built for speed above all else. Bollenrath peels away first, beginning his attack run. Andreas follows, slamming the throttle forward as the rocket engine roars back to life. He pitches down sharply and dives straight toward the bomber formation. The effect is disorienting. The massive B-17s swell rapidly in his windscreen, making him appear almost frozen in the sky. In reality, they are flying at over 200 miles per hour. But Andreas is closing at nearly 3 times that speed. He has only seconds. He lines up his shot and fires. Twin 30mm cannons thunder, unleashing a violent volley of shells. Explosions rip into the wing of a flying fortress, shredding metal and structure. Before the defensive gunners can fully respond, Andreas plunges beneath the formation and streaks clear of their fire. The bomber is damaged, but not destroyed. It is not enough. As Andreas pulls away, he watches in frustration as bomb bay doors open across the formation. Thousands of pounds of explosives fall toward the fuel plant below. Moments later, distant flashes confirm the worst. The target has been hit. Andreas still has fuel remaining, and he knows he must try again. The bomber stream begins its turn for home. Damaged flying fortresses trailing behind the main formation. Wounded, vulnerable, tempting targets. Andreas banks hard and sets up for another attack. He slips beneath the formation once more, engine idling to conserve every remaining second of fuel. Above him, the bombers loom like enormous steel towers as he positions himself carefully beneath his chosen target. Then he pushes the throttle to maximum. The rocket engine detonates into full power, kicking him violently across the back as the Komet surges forward, burning its final fuel reserves to reach nearly 600 miles per hour. Andreas pulls up sharply, climbing into the bomber's belly, attacking from below, but this time, He has been spotted. Inside the B-17's ball turret, an American gunner sees the tiny rocket fighter streaking upward, and swings the turret to meet the attack. Twin .50 caliber machine guns open fire. Both men shoot at once. Andreas' shells tear into the underside of the bomber, ripping through its skin. At the same moment, heavy machine gun fire screams past the Komet, tracer rounds flashing around the cockpit. One of Andreas' cannons jams instantly. He is committed now. He holds his line as bullets zip around him. His remaining 30mm cannon pounding the bomber again and again. For a brief instant, it seems he might succeed. Then the American gunner finds his mark. A .50 caliber round smashes into the canopy, ripping through the cockpit. Shrapnel strikes Andreas above the left eye as the bullet continues on, punching through the armored plate behind him, and into the fuel tank. In that moment, his confidence in the aircraft vanishes. The tank behind him is filled with a volatile mixture infamous for spontaneous ignition and horrific chemical burns. If it explodes, there will be no escape. Andreas breaks away at once. Diving from the formation, tracers chase him briefly, but within seconds he is clear. Knowing the danger, he unbuckles and reaches for the canopy. It doesn't move. Damn it, come on, move. The slipstream holds it shut. He pushes harder, straining against the wind. Unseen, Captain Fred Glover of the 336th Squadron has been watching from his P-51 Mustang. Got one. Intercepting. Glover banks and slides in behind the wounded Komet. Andreas sees the Mustang and snaps back onto the controls. Diving. As .50 caliber fire rips past him, he slams the throttle forward, but nothing happens. He is out of fuel. The Mustang turns back. Glover fires again, tearing panels from the Komet and puncturing its fuel tanks. Vapors ignite instantly, flames spreading across the aircraft's underside. Andreas rolls inverted and dives. The Mustang close behind. Even without power, the Komet's airframe gives him a slim chance in a steep dive. Glover presses the attack, shredding the fragile rocket fighter. Andreas' time is almost gone. Then, suddenly, more Komets burst from the clouds, the rest of the squadron. It's your lucky day, Komet, Glover mutters, breaking off the chase. But Andreas' ordeal is not over. He deepens the dive, praying the rushing air will smother the flames. Miraculously, the fire fades, only to reignite moments later with terrifying intensity as the fuels burn on contact. Elsewhere, Jakob Bollenrath is fighting for his life. He attacks another bomber, then throttles back, unaware of Captain Louis Norley's P-51 waiting behind him. Traces flash past. Bollenrath dives, turns hard, but loses speed. Norley predicts the move and fires. Bullets tear into the Komet. The engine seizes. There is no escape. Back in his cockpit, Andreas realizes the truth. It's the wind. He pulls up hard, bleeding speed. The canopy finally swings open. He bails out, escaping as his aircraft burns. As his parachute blossoms, Andreas watches Bollenrath's Komet plunge toward the ground. No parachute, no chance. Jakob Bollenrath never escapes. His aircraft impacts the earth in flames, marking the last Me-163 ever shot down by a P-51 Mustang. Lieutenant Gunther Andreas, Captain Fred Glover, and Captain Louis Norley all survive the war. And history records the lesson clearly. Sometimes, even the fastest aircraft ever built is not enough to stop the B-17s.